right, welcome to Refuse to Lose. I am your host. My name is Joe Jordan. This is the third episode of the weekend special. I have three great men with me. I have my man Mark, David, and Matt here. So, fellas, how y'all doing?
What's going on, Joe? I'm good. How's everything going over there?
You know me, Joe. I'm good. Holding it down in the city.
Hey, Joe, how you doing? Glad to be here. Really excited about the episode.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, so listen, y'all, we're going to go straight into it. And the first topic, we got to talk about the only undefeated team, which are the Arizona Cardinals. So look, all right, so the Carolina Panthers. So, Mark, I'm going to dish this first question out to you. Are the Dallas Cowboys the biggest threat to the Arizona Cardinals?
I'm going to say no. They're not the biggest threat, but they are a threat to the Cardinals. I think, in my opinion, the biggest threat would be a team that they already beat. It's a team in their division, LA Rams. I think that'd be their biggest threat in their division, in my opinion. I think that'd be the biggest threat in the whole NFL for the Cardinals, in my opinion. It's just the Rams because they're in their division. They beat them the first time, but watch the game, a lot of different calls and all that. The game was really like two calls away from, two of them touchdowns coming back. So it's I'm gonna say the LA Rams they already beat them, but it's 2 games per season division.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I agree. That was going to be my take. I think the LA Rams is definitely going to be the biggest threat to the Cardinals. Not just in that division or in the NFC, but in the NFL, just like he just said. I don't see anyone that has basically the same kind of high power as the offense that they have, along with the defense as well. I know the Rams defense hasn't been that good lately, but they still have Jalen Ramsey back there. They still have Aaron Donald. So they have a great defense back there that's capable of being able to get back on track of how it used to be before. Tampa Bay, they just keep getting injuries, so we can't put them in that sentence. Even though the Cowboys are third in the league in turnovers right now, they can still get scored on. So I would also agree with Matt and say the Rams. I wouldn't say the Cowboys just yet.
So for me, I would actually have to say the Cowboys aren't the biggest threat, but they are a main threat in the NFC division based on their record and what they can do offensively with all the weapons that the Cowboys have. They are almost close to unstoppable. And that defense is something that they haven't had in a long time, and that is to take the ball away. Even with that game that came close to the Patriots, I sat there and watched that game waiting for the pick. And what did I receive? I received that wonderful pick. So the Dallas Cowboys know what they're doing as a team, but they are a main threat, just not the biggest threat. The biggest threat to the Arizona Cardinals would be the defending Super Bowl champions. I get it. They're dealing with some injuries right now, but with those injuries, they're still 5-1. And the Cardinals, it may look like it could be the Rams, but they did beat the Rams in the regular season. They handed them a really bad loss at that. And when it comes to the injuries of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're not significant enough to make you say that they're going to lose. They're going to head right back to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't say the Super Bowl, but they headed right back to the playoffs at the minimum. I have them with only having maybe 4 losses this season, maybe 5 if the injuries kind of compile on them a little too much defensively. But then again, you got so many offensive weapons on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are you going to do? And even if Antonio Brown goes out, right, you still got that kid Ty Johnson that can come in and fill right into that spot, and Scotty Miller that comes in fills right into that spot. O.J. Howard came in and filled right in for Gronkowski when he went out. And then you still got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who is still very well healthy on that offensive front. So, the injuries are on the back end of the Bucs. Let me tell you something about that back end of the Bucs. They always been soft. This is a Todd Bowles defense. This is something that has never changed. He changed his defense one time, and that was in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs with 2 starting offensive linemen out and the quarterback with turf toe. I'd blitz all game 2 if I was that. when now that the Super Bowl is over, they went right back to that same Todd Bowles cover 2 defense where they let you throw the ball down the field. But when that field shrinks, that front 7 is the fiercest front 7 in the NFL. Once you get across that 50, you're in trouble. You have to score on the Bucks from the 50 to the end zone. If you can't do that, once that field shrinks, you're in trouble. You most likely coming out of a field goal. So yeah, I would say it would be the defending champs is the biggest threat to the Cardinals.
Okay. All right. So look, number one, I do have the Rams going to the Super Bowl this year. That was my preseason pick before the season even started. I had them going to the Super Bowl as a 6th seed though. Also, Tampa Bay. Now, of course, if we talking about who has a better chance of going to the Super Bowl outside of Cardinals, it will be the Buccaneers, mainly because of Tom Brady. But you want to look at who is the biggest threat. If the Cardinals play any team in the NFL, who would they have the toughest time against? It's the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell y'all why. So look, the Cowboys, number one, they could beat you multiple ways. Number one, they have the number 2 rushing attack in the whole NFL. They probably have the best duo outside of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But you look at the numbers, it is Zeke Elliott and Pollard, right? Zeke Elliott and Pollard are the only two running backs from the same team that's top 12 in rushing right now in the NFL. And then you look at the Cardinals, their weakest point is the run game. If you can crack them, well, their weakest point is not the run game, but the games they work close in is because those teams had good rushing attacks. You look at the Vikings. The Vikings, they only lost to the Vikings because they missed a field goal at the end of the game. But Dalvin Cook was the only person that gained 100 yards on the Cardinals all year. The Cowboys had the ability to do that. The second team they had a hard time against, the 49ers. The 49ers had 150 yards against against the Cardinals. The Cowboys averaged 164 yards a game. So the Cardinals can gain control of the game as far as possession by running the ball. Number 2, they could beat you in the passing game. All right, Dak doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers or Pat Mahomes all game for them to win. They had won games when they played Carolina. He had less than 200 yards. They still won a game. Against the Patriots, they had over 400 passing yards. They still won the game. Guess what? When he had under 200 yards, they had 36 points. When he had 35 points. When he had over 400 yards, they had 36 points. So no matter, they could beat you in the passing game and the rushing game. So you look at the passing, right? The Cardinals right now, right? They are ninth. I think they're ninth in defense and passing yards, right? Passing allowed. They don't need. Sorry, the Cowboys are 5th in passing. The Cardinals are 9th in passing. So you look at a passing game, the Cowboys have a better passing attack. Now, Dave, I think you said that the Rams are the only team that can compete with them in points. The Cowboys right now are the number 1 team in points per game. All right, so the Cowboys can score with the Cardinals. On top of that, right, the defense, like with Kyler Murray, you have to put pressure on him. You look at the Cowboys, Parsons right now is 4th in the league right now in QB knockdowns. And that's not even including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game because he was playing as a linebacker that game. They switched him against the Chargers, right? So if I look at the Cowboys from top of down, then on top of that, when you play a good team, you got to be able to make plays on the defensive end. And guess who been making plays all year on the defensive end? The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they are like you said, I think they're 3rd right now in turnovers, whatever, right? You know, Trayvon Diggs leading league in interceptions. So you look at it from top down, the Cowboys would be the toughest matchup in anybody in the league right now to the Arizona Cardinals.
So I can't say the same thing about Dallas. Dallas is Dallas good right now, but Dallas getting a lot of lucky breaks. Even some of the picks that Trayvon Diggs is getting is a lot of. It ain't like he's like, well, some of them are good, but it's like it's not all he's strapping. It's overthrows or tip passes or something like that. So it's like, yeah, he doing his thing with the interceptions. I get that, and like I'm not even gonna hate on him. I think he having a great season, Pro Bowl type season. Not even Pro Bowl, MVP type season if he break the record. I would give him MVP for defense. But the Cardinals is not the Cardinals, but the Rams is I think they're going to be much better defensively going forward because they don't even have their top pass rusher right now. Chandler Jones hasn't been playing. They've been in COVID-19 protocol. And on top of that, Cardinals defense ranked number 1 right now. So passing, and then they're going to get in the teams that they're playing. Like I'm taking that into account too because the teams that they're playing, they're getting fat. They got fast sacks against the Browns. They're getting like just without even their top pass rusher. And the teams that they're about to play are not really like good teams. So they should beat down on them teams really bad. That should be a confidence booster because, you know, When you play good teams, you got to play to the level of your competition. So it's I think the Cardinals' biggest threat will be the Rams because of the D-line. The Rams' D-line is better than Dallas, in my opinion. They have more playmakers on the back end. So Dallas got Trayvon Diggs, but LA has Jalen Ramsey, and we all know who's a better cornerback. I mean, Jalen Ramsey probably the number one cornerback in the league, and arguably. So when it comes down to defenses, it's just like, yeah, Cowboys can score, but their defense not going to stop you every time. Cardinals got the type of defense that'll stop you. So they can stop. I think the Cardinals they're capable of stopping Dallas offense. And I don't think Dallas defense is capable of stopping Arizona offense like the Rams could. But it was early in the season and people still getting their stuff together. So I think like maybe when you get to like middle of the season, you're really gonna see who the fighters are in the season. Who's gonna really make the playoffs and who's gonna really make that push.
Yeah, I second that. I definitely agree about that defense. And Joe, I was talking about the defensive scoring, not the offensive scoring. Cowboys offense is number one in the league. Yes, I know about the points. I'm talking about defense wise. The Cowboys defense are allowing 24, 25 points a game. And that's with a healthy defense. The Rams are allowing 21 points a game with an unhealthy defense. They still have some injuries that's going back there. But Jalen Ramsey, they had a couple key players that was out. So I trust the Rams defense more than I trust the Cowboys defense. Yes, Trayvon is just having a great year. And I definitely think he's going to be defensive MVP. Whether he breaks the record or not, I think he's going to be defensive MVP. And no one else other than Chandler Jones has had an outstanding defensive year this year so far. So I'm still going to stick with the Rams. Cowboys has a good chance. I'm not going to say they're not. I think they're going to run away with their division. No one else in that division is probably even going to win 5 games. So.
Good.
So my issue with the Cowboys defense and why they can't be the biggest threat to the Arizona Cardinals is what they give up on the ground to running backs. Leonard Fournette ain't nobody to brag about. Nobody. But he had a decent game against the Dallas Cowboys run defense. And my biggest premise about going into the playoffs is having a great defense and a great running game. I don't care about your quarterback. Your quarterback could be average. Why can he be average? Because Brady was average and won his first Super Bowl in his second year. Russell Wilson was average and won his first Super Bowl in his second year. Well, maybe a tad bit above average because of what he can do talent-wise, but I say average because he wasn't a vet, and it was relied heavily on Marshawn Lynch and the defense. So he was average. He was average. Okay. When Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco came in the league, they didn't win Super Bowls right away, but they stayed in the playoffs. Why? Because they had great running games and they had great defenses. And when you can run the football, that is what gets you and propels you into the playoffs and farther. I'll give you another example. As great as the Chargers are, they almost lost to the Browns. Why? No matter what the Chargers did in the air, the Browns put the ball on the ground. And they ran that bad boy to the death. Why? They're the number one rushing offense. The number one rushing offense sitting behind a top 5 defense. If not number, I really want to put them at, they're number 3, but I really want to put them number 1, to be honest with you. I know they say the Cardinals are number 1. And you know, it's funny because they should be. And I tie them. I would tie the Browns and the Cardinals at number 1 with defense. But the Cowboys defense is nowhere near what those 2 teams can do defensively via stopping you completely. The Bills stopping you completely, only holding outside of the Derrick Henry debacle. The Bills have held teams to under 20 points. And if you are going to go into the playoffs and be a threat to anybody, that has to be your statement. The Browns, they running with third strings and a backup quarterback and still only allowed 14 points put on them. That's it. 14 points was only allowed on the Browns game last night. So for me, again, I put it with the Bucs because that front seven will stop your run game. They're going to force you to pass. And again, they're going to let you do that all day because when that field shrinks, what you going to do with all that 40, 30-yard passes? You better be very accurate with 15 yards or you getting picked off or you have 3 running backs running you over. And by the way, the last time I saw the Bucs play the Cowboys, Zeke had 3 Bucs around him every time he touched the ball. And that did not vote well for him outside of what? He get 30 yards rushing that game, something real bad. He had 3 Bucs jerseys on him every single time he ran the ball. And that, if people aren't paying attention, you have a good defense, you can do that to Zeke. Zeke hasn't played a defense like that since the Bucs. So for me, you put the Zeke against that Cardinals defense, I think he's not getting in the end zone. I think he's short of 40 yards rushing. I think he gets 3 yards for 25 in the passing game, but that's about it for Zeke when it comes to that Cardinals defense. So no, I have to say it's still the Bucs, just because of, I mean, to beat the Bucs, you got to put up 5+ touchdowns anyway. To beat the Chiefs, you got to put up 5+ touchdowns. To beat the Cardinals, you got to put up 5+ touchdowns. Now, to beat the Cowboys, you do have to put up 5+ touchdowns. Here's the difference. You can. Outside of Trayvon Diggs picking you off, you can still, he picked off Tom Brady, who still won the game. Now, his pick started in week 1, and yet Brady and them still won. So they're not stopping anybody offensively. They can just take the ball away in certain parts. If you make a bad pass, Cowboys, they got a guy that can wait for it. They got a guy that can jump the route and get you. But they need a little bit more defensively if they plan on being a threat to somebody. I bet against the Cardinals twice, and I got burnt twice. I'm not doing that again. No. They 6-0 for a reason. And it's just like Watt said on the field the other day. Y'all people making up excuses why the Cardinals are great. Ain't no more excuses. They're great because they are. If you watch that coach, even without the coach, they won. But if you watch that coach on the sideline, that man is one of the most poised coaches I have ever seen. And he is diabolically very, very intelligent, almost to the point you can call him an evil villain when it comes to football games. Like, I'm not betting against that man and his brain. He's too smart. There's no way. And it's not that Kyler Murray is bad. There's no way this team should be doing what they're doing to teams, but they are. Sometimes that team just comes at you like that. I don't have them in the Super Bowl. I don't have them going deep in the playoffs because I have Kyler Murray winning MVP, and MVPs don't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I have not seen one MVP win a Super Bowl. You can win MVP, Super Bowl MVP, but every MVP that's won a Super Bowl, they got put out. Aaron Rodgers, he got put out. And by the way, he's the biggest threat to the Cowboys, by the way. So they're not going to the Cowboys can't be the biggest threat to the Cardinals because they're going to get put out by the Packers.
Yeah, so now look, I'm not saying the Cowboys are better than the Cardinals. So let's get that out the window. All right. The Cardinals are the best team in the NFL right now. I don't think the Cowboys are the second best team. I don't think they're the third best team or the fourth. I just think they're the best matchup. Well, I think they are the fourth right now, but I think they're the best matchup for the Cardinals. Now, look, let me address something some of y'all said. So, look, you said Tom Brady is the best matchup for him. The games that Tom Brady were bad in, you look at the Patriots, what happened? He had pressure. Don't y'all think the Cardinals would put pressure on Tom Brady? Yes, Tom Brady always played poorly when there's pressure in his face. And the Cardinals, on top of that, they got to score points. They're going to score a bunch of points. So with the pressure in Tom Brady's face, he has to score points. Now, if you ask me to pick one of the two in the playoffs, I'm going to pick Tom Brady. Only the strength of Tom Brady, IQ-ness, genius-ness, whatever you want to call it, right? Of his winning intangibles, I'm going to pick Tom Brady. But when I look at the teams, I'm going to say the Cardinals will be a problem for Tom Brady because of the pass rush. And then also the 2 Super Bowl teams you named. You said in Super Bowl, which is true. I don't think you have to have a franchise like a Patrick Mahomes type quarterback to win the Super Bowl. But the 2 you named were not good examples, in my opinion, because you named the Tom Brady Patriots in the early stages, one of the best defenses we've seen in the last 20 years. And the Seahawks, they were statistically the best defense in NFL history. There's nobody in the NFL right now. The Cardinals They got a defense like that right now. So we ain't even got to worry about that. All right. So you look at the Cardinals, Chandler Jones. You said Chandler Jones having a great year. I believe that first game, how many sacks he had? 5. How many sacks he had since then? 0. He hasn't had a sack since then, I don't think, right? So Chandler Jones not having,
COVID protocol.
Yeah, okay. I mean, did he miss the whole season? He only played one game the whole year? I mean, tell me not, right? So my thing is, he had one great game, and it's again overhyped because it's 5 sacks, but he still only had 5 sacks. All right, now they are getting pressure because they got J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones right there, and then they have the great, Buda Baker them in the back end, but I just think the Cowboys match up great with them. I don't think the Cowboys are better. I don't think they're a top 3 team. They would just match up better because the only team that almost beat them were the Vikings. The team that they had a hard time with, 49ers, both of them ran the ball good. The Vikings ran 177 yards. 49ers, 150 yards. Everybody else, the Rams had 112, but that was a blowout. A lot of those were back-end yards, right? So the thing is, the Cowboys can run the ball, and when you can run the ball, you said it. You got to be able to have a good run game, all right? And then the Patriots' defense was just like the Cowboys. But what happened in the playoffs? They fixed it up, all right? So the defense can make plays. That's what you need in the playoffs. You need defense that can create turnovers.
Very true.
The Cowboys can do that. And on top of that, they can run the ball. And if you stop the run, guess what? Dak could throw 4 touchdowns, throwing 198 yards. That is the type of team they are, right? So I just think the Cowboys are best fit to beat the Cardinals. They're not going to beat the Cardinals, but they're the best fit to beat them.
Hey, hold on. If the Cowboys are hosting a playoff game against the Cardinals, the Cowboys are winning that game. That I do believe. I doesn't mean that doesn't make them the biggest threat, but I did have them. Like I said they're a main threat because of what they can do offensively and how creative they are of taking the ball away. So they're a main threat. I can't put them at the biggest, but I do have them as like the second, third greatest threat to the Cardinals. Their season this year. But again, if the Cowboys are hosting a home game against the Cardinals in the playoffs, the Cardinals are going home.
I totally disagree with that.
And I got the Cardinals going home with Kyler Murray win MVP anyway. He exited. You better hope he don't win MVP.
Well, if
Sam Bradford.
between MVP, if it ain't Kyler, it ain't Lamar. But like I don't agree. I don't think that. I don't think the Cowboys are. I think the Cowboys are a good team. I do think they make it past the first round of the playoffs, in my opinion. I do think they make it past the first round of the playoffs, but I don't think they go further than that.
You can hold Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb.
It's not even about who
you have to hold these guys.
Because look, you got to look at because deep playoff defense is totally different than regular season defense.
Right.
Like, so if you look at, for example, the way like the Tampa Bay ended their season last year versus what they started, like how their year started with the defense, they ended like top 3. In the playoffs, they shut everybody. Their defense shut everybody down. We all knew what their defense was capable of.
You can throw on a Todd Bowles cover 2 defense. That's not the issue. Like I said, when that field shrinks, that's where they become very, very, very dangerous.
Yeah, but Dallas doesn't have. I don't think Dallas defense. Their defense isn't built for the playoffs. Their offense is. Their defense is not.
Until and I agree, because until we see that defense start shaving points.
Once they start shaving the points off, that's when
if they're not shaving any points, then we do have we can't call them.
They just outscoring everybody.
Yeah, right. Because that still puts them at top 20 at least. You have to be able.
They're really going to be able to win games.
Points.
If they once they start, if the only way they can win a playoff game, honestly, is by outscoring someone. The Cowboys.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's every team this year. I think that's every team this year. Patrick Mahomes is the president. In order to beat Patrick Mahomes, you have to score more than 5 touchdowns.
I don't know. With the way that the Chiefs have been playing lately, I don't know. You make it just go 21 points and still beat them. They haven't been duo.
That was one team against the Buffalo Bills.
They can still put up points.
Every team, I get they losing.
If you look at history,
they can still put up points.
If you look at the history, Super Bowl teams that lose the very next year, they don't do very well. What makes the Chiefs so different? Just because they have
they went back to back. Didn't they go back to back?
Because Tom Brady won 4 in 3 championships in 4 years. He didn't digress.
How long ago was that?
for 10 years after he wasn't winning, he was still in the playoffs, and he was still in the AFC Championship game, and he was still in the Super Bowl. He was just losing a few of those. So I mean, they didn't digress. The Packers don't digress. They stay in the playoffs. Losing teams, yes, that's my apology.
Now Super Bowl,
winning teams right.
Do well, but Super Bowl losing teams don't do that well.
Because look at the Rams, look at the Falcons,
look at the 49ers. I'm a
49ers, absolutely.
Look what happened to us last year. We were COVID heavy, hurt, couldn't do anything.
Actually, look at the Patriots after they lost to the Giants, and Tom Brady went out with an ACL tear.
There you go. And then to talk about average quarterbacks to make it to the Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo. You got to put him up there. He's an average quarterback that went to the Super Bowl because of the running game. He threw 8 passes in the NFC Championship game, and we still blew them out.
And my point about Tom Brady and Russell Wilson, my point was the fact that they were average quarterbacks with amazing defense. That was my point. That's the only way you win. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to have a franchise quarterback. You don't have to have a top 10 quarterback. You need a guy that can complete the pass on third down and keep the drive alive. That's what you need. You need a running back that can get 3 to 5 yards a carry, so that way you're at 2nd and 3 rather than 2nd and 8.
Yeah.
And if you need a running back that falls forward, not back. Zeke is a forward running back.
Zeke is a great running back. Still,
Connor might not make it the season. So that's why I say if the Cowboys are hosting a home game, they could beat the Cardinals.
I would say Zeke is a good running back. I don't think he's a great running back.
No, I think Zeke is a great running back. I think Zeke has stuff that
Zeke ain't no great running back. You want to know why Zeke ain't a great running back? You got your backup running back running just as great as you.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. Let's move forward. All right.
You're a good running back behind a great offensive line.
There you go.
I think he's a great running back.
Now
I think the way he cut
inner Jay Crawford. All right. So yeah, but no, that was a great segment. Very, very interactive. I love it. That's very good, y'all. So look, so we're gonna move to the next segment, but before that, we're gonna go to a break. But the next segment, we're gonna talk about the AFC West. Who will be the king of the AFC West? Let's find out after the break. The AFC West turned into a strong division. The Chargers are 4-2. The Raiders are 4-2 also. The Chiefs unusually are in 3rd place at 3-3, and then the Broncos are the only team below 500 at 3-4. The Chargers are in 1st place right now with the tiebreaker and being 2-0 in the division. So I'm going to pass this question to you first, David. Who will be the beast at the AFC West once the season is over?
So when the season started, of course, I had the Chiefs winning this division. I think that was a consensus for everyone. However, I think the Chargers are going to be the best team in the division right now. Even though they haven't played consistently, they play the Patriots next, which I think is going to be going to be a win for them. And I don't see anyone else in that division that's really going to be able to make some noise. The Chiefs right now, I mean, they don't look too good. Their defense is just horrible. They're bottom 5 in the league in defense, which is it's not going to win you any games. The Raiders, they have a situation, with the whole racism and misogynism thing that was going on with John Gruden. So I don't know if they're going to be motivated enough, even though they did just win this last week. I'm just going to go off a hunch because I'm really not sure. I think that the Chargers probably have the best chance to win the division. With the young quarterback, with some good weapons that he has, and an okay defense, I don't see anyone making any noise to overtop the Chargers.
So for me, the team I picked to win the AFC West is the Chargers as well, actually. So I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth. These Chiefs have never had a good defense. Never. They've never had a good defense. They have the Honey Badger. They had Houston at linebacker. They've had key players here and there, around the field on defense. that kept them in games to win, because again, to beat Patrick Mahomes, you got to put up more than 5 touchdowns. Okay. And Chiefs weren't big on, turning the, they turned the ball, but they weren't big on like scoring on defense and stuff like that. Their biggest thing was getting Patrick Mahomes the ball, moving down the field, scoring a bunch of touchdowns. That's just been their identity since he's been on that team. Last year, week 1, Thursday night, they highlighted that running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was looking so good in the open field, got to that goal line, first down, nothing. Second down, nothing. Third down, nothing. Fourth down, nothing. I said, Chiefs are in trouble. Why? Because if you can't punch the ball into the end zone, you are in trouble. And then every game since then, they barely ran the ball. They were about as bad as running the ball last year as the Steelers were. Now you go on the other side last year and look at the rookie who came in late, and he has put up 3+ touchdowns offensively himself. And I think he threw for 4,300 yards as a rookie coming in late. By the way, remember, he didn't play a full season. Okay. And old Herbert was already throwing for over 4,000 yards and over 30 touchdowns. That's absolutely incredible. As a rookie, well, you got 2 over here talking about something. Oh, he's still the playbook. Well, we got a rookie over here who ain't had a problem with their playbook, and they run a pretty tough offense over there in Los Angeles. Now you fast forward this year, right? He's got all his weapons. He's got the running back that they know they're going to start. No injuries involved. Nothing's going on. And what did the Chargers do? They come out and win football games this year. They lost 2 games. The first, and honestly, they came out with this. It was a weird thing. I can't put it on them. The way the refs was calling some of them touchdowns back from the Chargers, I was like, what the heck that call come from? Why? If the quarterback arm went forward, when does it become a forward pass in the back of the end zone? What? That threw me for a loop. So I was like, okay, so yeah, Chargers are going to deal with some football god ugliness this year. I can already tell, but I still had them going 12-5 this season. And they're still well on track for that. Now, don't get me wrong. The Chiefs are 3-3, and I actually had them 12-5 too in the division. So, one of them, give or take, won't make it that record. One will be 1 and one will be 2, and they'll both be in the playoffs. But I do think it'll be the Chargers. And if you look at the Chargers' schedule, they played what? They got Washington that they beat week 1. They lost to the Cowboys. That was that weird game where touchdowns were just getting taken away out of nowhere. They lost to the Chiefs they beat the Chiefs in week 3. They beat the Raiders, they beat the Browns, and then they lost to the Ravens. They got a bye week, then they come back and play the Patriots that they'll win. They'll come back and beat the Eagles. Then they got the Vikings. The Steelers might be their other issue, but right now with Ben playing I don't see that happening. They're not going to lose to the Broncos that I had them losing to later because they got to play the Broncos on the road. That's not going to happen. So I personally believe the Chargers are well on their way to taking over this division. You got a great quarterback in his second year. And you know what? That loss that they took to the Ravens, I'm going to tell you what that was. You had a rookie, not a young, you had a rookie head coach going up against a legend. And the legend showed his collar to him. That's all it was. The rookie quarterback got in his head. The game got away from him. If you look at Austin Eckler, he had 7 rushing yards. 7. They let that game get away from him, and that coach got in his head and just started having Herbert doing all these throws and running these 5-spread, 4-spread formations to try to move them. He let the game get away from him as the coach. That was nothing on the players. That game was completely lost by the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. And I promise you, it'll never happen like that again this year. And I give you one other one. They will beat they will see the Ravens in the playoffs, and they will beat the Ravens in the playoffs.
All right. So look, I had a feeling that everybody's gonna pick the Chargers. But I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs. All right, let me tell you why. So the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna win this division. The only reason why the Chiefs are not number 1 right now is because of the Chiefs. Nobody has beaten them yet. The only team I would say has beaten them are the Bills. Everybody else the Chiefs have beaten themselves. Let me break it down for you. All right. So they first lost against the Ravens. Now, first, let me say this first. Turnover differential, right? They are -8, which is number 1 in the league right now, right? I think they have about 14 turnovers they have for the season, which is bad. And I don't believe everybody on this call right now think that's going to stick to the whole season. That's not, right? Number 2, against the Ravens, they each had 2 turnovers, but both of the Chiefs turnovers came in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes threw a dumb pass, getting pressure, and he threw the ball, which is unnecessary. It had nothing. I mean, of course, the pressure was there. That's good defense, but the throw was stupid. It was just stupid, right? It was on his end, and then the fumble on the game-winning drive. Of course, you can say that's good defense too. You know, punching the ball out, things like that, right? But that's another error by the Chiefs. So I believe the Chiefs would have just did their part. They would have won that game, right? We also look at the Chargers. Now, look. The Chargers beat them, and then, by the way, they lost that game by the Ravens by 1 point. You look at the Chargers. The Chargers beat them by 1 possession. Not even 1 possession, 6 points. So if the Chiefs scored a touchdown, they win this game. The Chargers had 0 turnovers. The Chiefs had 4 turnovers. And we think that's going to happen again? No, it's not going to happen again, right? And then you look at the Chiefs' turnovers. They are careless once again. They are self-destructive, right? It had nothing. I'm saying they had nothing, but it's not like the Chargers winning there outplayed the Chiefs. The Chiefs had more total yards than the Chargers, right? They had over 400 yards. I think they had 427 yards against the Chargers, against a good defense, right? You can say, right? And the Chargers had about 350 yards. The Chargers had 21 first downs. The Chiefs had 32 first downs. All right, so the Chiefs had more time of possession. The difference of that game was the turnovers, 4-0. If you ever go 4-0 on turnovers, you're getting blown out. But in this case, they only lost by 6. So I'm not going to overreact. You see the Buffalo Bills, they committed 4 turnovers to 0. But I personally believe the Bills are better than the Chargers because of their defense. Their defense is great. And you see they played a good team. They committed 4 turnovers. They got blown out, right? With the Chargers, they lost by 6. So, and on top of that, the Chiefs, they can still score. They, like you said, Matt, they always had a bad defense. The 2 times they went to the Super Bowl, they had a bottom 5 defense. And they still went to the Super Bowl. So I'm not even worried about the defense right now. The problem is the offense committing turnovers. The offense, they're still number 2 in offense. Number 2 in passing. They're still, I know what you said about Matt about rushing, but they're still top 10 in rushing right now in the NFL right now, right? You look at the points per game, 5th in the league in points per game, right? So the defense, I'm not worried about that because guess what? Dallas have a worse defense than the Chiefs. Tampa Bay have a worse defense than the Chiefs. But yeah, we still got them being contenders because their offense, I know Tampa Bay rushing defense is number 2, I think top 5 in the league. But you look at yards per game that's being allowed, Tampa Bay is worse, Dallas is worse. The issue with the Chiefs is not the defense, because the defense are who they thought we are. The issue is the offense turned the ball over, and the reason why their points per game on defense is worse, because the teams they're playing against are getting more possessions because of these turnovers. All right, so I'm not going to overreact at this. And my last point is this, Patrick Mahomes. Out of any quarterback in this division, I trust Patrick Mahomes more than anybody. I trust Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. I trust him more than Derek Carr. And I dag sure trust him more than Teddy Bridgewater, the backup quarterback, right? But the thing about Justin Herbert, he also have his errors that he makes. You look at the Ravens game. I know you can say that it was the coach and all that stuff, but a lot of those 3rd and 4th down plays, he was super inaccurate on those throws, on those key throws to get them the first down. So Justin Herbert have his moments too. Against the Cowboys, those 2 interceptions he threw, those were bad passes by Justin Herbert. All right, so on top of that, when the Chiefs meet them again, I got the Chiefs winning, and the Chiefs, in my opinion, could sweep the rest of the division, the rest of the season, if they just fix their end and not turn the ball over. So I got the Chiefs winning the division, and that's it. I got the Chiefs winning the division.
Well, I'm gonna say you almost made me change my pick, but I'm definitely gonna pick the Chargers. The reason why I'm picking the Chargers is because of strength of schedule. The rest of Kansas City's schedule is really hard. Like they play the Giants next, and I swear to God, it's a possibility they can lose that game. You can say whatever you want about the Giants, they could lose that game still. They play the Packers, then they play the Raiders, which is a division game. You never know. You can't say that's going to be a blowout. Then they play the Cowboys. That's not a throw up. I mean, they're going to beat the Broncos. I give them that one. But then they play the Raiders again, the Chargers, then the Steelers, then the Bengals. And you got 3 teams in like the AFC, like in that Bengals, Ravens, and Bengals, Ravens, and Cincinnati. I feel like it's gonna be 3 teams in that division. All 3 of them teams going to the playoffs this year because they added an extra playoff slot. So I'm going just because I'm strictly off strength of schedule. I'm not picking the Chiefs to win a division because they got it rough. So they have a really tough schedule coming up, and if they can, and the Chargers, like, they can just blow past teams. Like they got some. I ain't gonna say guaranteed wins because no win is guaranteed, no matter how bad the team is. But
they have an easy schedule.
Yeah, they got a way easier schedule. So it's like and it's like we all know the Chiefs got bad defense. That was they knew they had bad defense. Even when they won the Super Bowl, they had bad defense. They was giving up all these points. I don't think they running back that good, in my opinion. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't even think he really that good of a running back, to be honest with you. So they really, the Chiefs is just they one dimensional offensively, and you can't stop it. So it's so once but the thing is, I think this year is different with the Chiefs because more teams starting to figure their offense out. They know what they're about to do. So what the Chiefs is really doing, Mahomes is making plays himself. Because I know that some of the plays that he's doing, they're not designed. I know how the commentators be saying that is not designed. I played football too, so that's not designed. You can't practice that in the game. I mean, that's some game time. That's why Patrick Mahomes so great.
Right here.
Yeah, that's all mental. That's why Patrick Mahomes so great. That stuff is not playing. So it's just like I don't think the Chiefs really got to get their stuff together this year. Or I know they can win games, but if the Raiders win a couple games, they might not make the playoffs. Like the Chiefs might not make the playoffs. So that's I feel strongly about that. Like, because I know they're what they're capable of on offense. But again, Andy Reid, the coach, I know a lot about Andy Reid because he's the coach of the Eagles, my rival in the NFC East. I like the Redskins, so I know how his offense is, and it's like he do not have the same defense or the defensive type players that he had with the Eagles. So it's not about to keep repeating the winning like that. And the Chargers have they have a better defense. And their offense, they have weapons on offense. You go from the tight end to both receivers. Keenan Allen ain't no slouch. Mike Williams ain't no slouch. When they get the ball in their hands, especially like some of the best route runners in the league. So it's I don't see the Chiefs even winning. I feel like they got to really work hard to compete to make the playoffs, in my opinion. So I don't think it's going to be runaway. But yeah, you see a lot by week 6, and it's week 6. It's week 7 now, so it's about to get real for them. You're gonna see what's going on. Their strength of schedule is really holding them back. They got to play the number 1 team in almost every division. So it's tough. So it's all about the strength of schedule.
That's definitely true. I'm looking at the Chargers schedule right now, and
it's a breeze, right?
They play New England, Philly, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Denver, the Bengals, the Giants, and then they play Kansas City on a Thursday night. Kansas City maybe even win that game.
Maybe.
Still
that doesn't put them above the Chiefs.
It's a short week, but still, even after that, they play Houston, Denver, and then they play the Raiders in Denver. I see that I only see 3 games that they may lose after this.
And that's 12-5. And they only got 2 right now. That puts them at 12-5. Right.
And then I'm counting the Chiefs as 1. They may lose against the Raiders, maybe.
That's the other one.
And the other one is probably the Bengals.
Yep. That's if I have one.
I can't see them losing to nobody else.
The Bengals
although slightly Minnesota
Minnesota can win.
Minnesota may win.
Yes.
Minnesota may win. Because
Minnesota can win.
That's the one that might do it. It's Minnesota.
That's the one that might do it. I don't think the Steelers are good enough to beat them. So that's a no. I don't think the Giants are good enough to beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry. I'm gonna disagree with that. I think the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too. I don't think so. The Giants have so much depletion. It's bad.
They've been. Everyone's been saying that they have a great defense, but I have yet to see that defense show how great they can be. Daniel Jones is not Danny Dimes. He's Danny Give Up Dimes. He ain't doing nothing right. So
if everything doesn't work out perfectly, he can't be Danny Dimes.
Exactly. I think Brock Bees just.
He has to have the running back, the tight end, and all his receivers at all 100%, all running the perfect route, all catching the balls.
But
no, I'm not saying that they was gonna win. I'm saying it's a possibility that the Giants they can.
Let me tell you, this Giants team is hitting. It's about as bad as the Dolphins and Washington and Jacksonville. They're bad.
But
That's terrible.
It is because it's injuries hindering them. They have all their people, they just not playing.
But David, I'm not gonna cut you off, but it's the NFL. You know,
Exactly.
Listen, unless you are a team that's generational differently, right? Then you can look at the schedule and be like, they're gonna win. Other than that, it's any given Sunday. You talking about the Vikings? They can lose to the Vikings on a bad day. They can lose to the Pittsburgh on a bad day. Like all those teams you named, only saw 5 teams that are like, yeah, I would definitely count them for a win. But outside of those 5 teams, I see potential losses in all those games. You never know. That's why you can't look at the schedule and just write it off. Look how they played against us. The Washington football team almost beat them. You look at it, and Taylor Heineke even played the whole game. Fitzpatrick played the first quarter and a half. If Taylor Heineke was in the game the whole game, it would have been way more competitive, in my opinion. All right, so you can't look at the schedule and just based off that, you know. But I just want to put that in there.
The schedule is important.
So
it's very important.
I think it is.
You mentioned the Chiefs. You know, I think you had mentioned something about them topping rushing.
Yeah,
It got nothing to do with their running back. Not the topping rushing, but they're at a certain number at rushing. That's Mahomes. Did anybody ever paid attention?
Most of those.
Mahomes has been there.
Most of those.
How do you think they convert third downs? On 3rd and 10, it's Mahomes.
Exactly.
Running for 10 yards every single time. That's what they couldn't do in the Super Bowl. That's why they lost.
And the other thing about the Chiefs,
That turf toe stopped him.
the last 2 years, even when Patrick Mahomes made mistakes, that defense was able to make up for it.
And they're not going to be able to do that this year. I'm
not
telling you
able
that now.
to do
That defense is so bad.
Messing Patrick Mahomes up. He's turning the ball over too much,
Exactly.
knowing that his defense cannot help him out.
But you know why he's turning the ball over too much? I'm going to tell you another reason why he's turning the ball over too much. There's another thing ain't nobody talking about.
O-line.
Nope. It ain't even his offensive line. It ain't even his offensive line because he ain't getting sacked. They're protecting him.
He's running.
Mahomes looks up for either Travis Kelce or the and then they can't get found.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what he don't have? Anybody else.
And then on top of that, they throw to Tyreek.
All they have is Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And the interceptions are coming when he can't find them and he got to hurry up and get rid of the ball. So one of the sorry dudes running down the field that cannot catch any ball. Nico Harmon is a scrub. Robinson is a scrub. There is nothing on that team except for those 2, the tight end and the 1 receiver. And when he can't find them, which defenses are disguising that because they're understanding how to stop Tyreek Hill. You ain't gonna do it all the time, and you got to have a really great defense to start it to stop. But if you look at
and then if you look
at
they've
been playing, look at the teams that they beat. Right, Tyreek Hill went up. Look at the teams that they lost to. Tyreek Hill did dog crap.
But if you look at it too, Tyreek Hill is the reason why Patrick Mahomes has that many interceptions too. He throw it to him, hit his hands, hit Travis Kelce's hands, bounce off.
And let me tell you something. Sometimes speed ain't the best thing for you. You running too fast for your route. You so worried about beating your man, you beating your quarterback.
That's not gonna last. I'm telling y'all, everything y'all talking about are self-destructions, things to
and how many
has nothing to do with the other
from the season. Okay,
that is true.
It's
week 6.
The Chiefs cannot win this division over the Chargers right now unless the Chargers fall. Do you know that? Because 1, the Chiefs already lost to the Chargers, and 2, the Chiefs already lost to the Bills. So that's 2 games below already. So if you look at it right now, they can't win the division unless the Chargers fall. And when I mean fall, they have to fall to the point that the Chiefs have a better record and the Chiefs beat the Chargers in the second game.
They will.
Okay, but they have to have a better record on top of that. You can't guarantee that. The Chargers are 4-2.
They're only 2 games behind. Last year, they went.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
You got the Raiders at 4-2.
People
you got the Raiders, and I know the Broncos are down 3-4. But what happens when Jerry Jeudy come back?
Yeah, he's back. He coming back in week 8. He'll be back in week 8.
And if you look at it like this, the Raiders play like the Raiders' strength of schedule isn't as strong as like the Chiefs. the Raiders have a chance of winning a lot of their games too.
They do.
I don't have the Raiders in the playoffs.
So the teams have a big
I have the
chance of
Raiders going
missing the
9-8.
whole entire playoffs.
Yeah,
The Raiders are 9-8.
The
If
Raiders
because
in
of
the
that
playoffs.
extra game they added in the playoffs, all you got to do is win 9-8. That's why they call it Super Wild Card Weekend. All you need is a 9-8 schedule, and you in the playoffs.
And the Raiders definitely got a 9-8 schedule.
Not in the AFC. Not in the AFC.
And the NFC maybe.
Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you.
Not in the AFC.
Watch what I tell you.
AFC.
But the Chiefs, yeah. But let's move to the next topic. Another entertaining topic. All right, this is getting good. So look, we're gonna go on breaks. When we come back from break, we're gonna talk about Baker Mayfield. Is he a top 10 quarterback? We're gonna find out after the break. The Browns are in third place. So, Matt, I'm gonna kick this question out to you. Is Baker Mayfield a top 10 quarterback?
No. But I put him at like 12, 13. And it's not that it's him, because if you look at his one, okay, so 2018, he had 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, but over 3,700 passing yards. He had for 2019, he was 22 for 21 for 3,800 passing yards plus. Okay, and then last year he was 26 with 8 interceptions for over 3,500 passing yards. So he can throw the football. What looks ineffective in the football games is when he has to throw the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. That's the problem. When Odell Beckham was completely out of the picture, why weren't we talking about Baker Mayfield if he was a top 10 quarterback and not last year? Why? Because he played like a top 10 quarterback. And if I'm not mistaken, was a game away from the AFC Championship game. He was a game away from the AFC Championship game. Okay. The issue right now is the fact they have a $90 million wide receiver that they have to give targets to. And when you have to give targets to someone, it's not that you're taking away from someone else, but you're taking away from your game plan to make you effective in the game. And I'm telling you right now, Baker Mayfield can't be effective on the field when Odell Beckham is on the field with him. He does all this splashing and all this screaming for 4 catches and 25 yards. I mean, come on. When are we going to say enough is enough and blame the culprit? Since Odell Beckham has been with the Browns, it has not looked good offensively in the passing game. But when he's not there, all of a sudden, all these no-name receivers that nobody know about, they got 5-7 targets apiece. So I don't think it's Baker. I don't think it's a top 10 quarterback. Not yet. I still need to see more from him from what I saw last year. His first year with Stefanski was a really good year. This year with Stefanski is a good year. However, it's a contract year for Baker. So a lot is at stake this year, i.e. winning the Super Bowl or at least getting in that bad boy. And with that torn arm, he's going to drag his body all the way through there. But, I mean, a top 12 quarterback will do that too. You know, he'll drag his body for that contract to hopefully win. I mean, but that'll make him a top 10, but it doesn't make him a bad quarterback at all.
All right. So, look, Baker Mayfield is not top 10. All right. And on top of that, he might be top 15. I got 13 quarterbacks I could take over Baker Mayfield and a possible 14. Let me get to all of them. I would take Brady over him, Mahomes over him, Stafford over him, Dak over him, Herbert over him, Kyler Murray over him, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I would take Joe Burrow over Baker Mayfield. I would take A-Rod, of course, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. I'll take him over Baker Mayfield. And I can make a good case to take Taylor Heineke over him.
I got one more. Tannehill.
So look, now Tannehill, I won't leave Tannehill. It's a reason why I didn't put Tannehill. And the same reason why Baker Mayfield's stock is down. Number one, you have one of the best offensive lines in the league. You have one of the best rushing. You have the best rushing attack in the league, right? You have Jarvis Landry, and y'all saw him in Miami. He was really great in Miami. He come to Cleveland. He's not really getting talked about at all because look at his quarterback. You get Odell Beckham. Everybody's blaming Odell Beckham why he's not who he is. But it's Baker Mayfield. He's inaccurate. But let me get to it. Baker Mayfield is 13th in completion percentage right now, 19th in yards per game, 26th in TDs per game. He got sacked 18 times with a good offensive line. He's tied for second in 18 sacks. He's 25th in QBR and 16th in QB rating. Like, let me go back to Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke is playing not behind a not so good offensive line. He doesn't have the rushing attack that he has. He's daggone sure don't have the defense that the Browns have. But yet, Taylor Heineke, while playing one less game than Baker Mayfield, he has more TDs. Baker Mayfield has barely 80 yards more yards than Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke QBR is higher than Baker Mayfield. And Taylor Heineke is a dual threat quarterback. He can pick the ball up and run for a touchdown versus Baker Mayfield. He does it sometimes, not often. So Baker Mayfield is not overrated, I would say, because nobody never put him in the same class as Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. But he's definitely not top 10, and he'd probably be 15th, if not 14th. Right? Like I said, I'll probably put Taylor Heineke in front of him, but he's at least top 14 quarterback.
Okay, I like Baker. I can say what y'all want to know. I like Baker. Baker is definitely number 10 on the list. If anything, I would say number 10. In my opinion, and I can give you the other 9 quarterbacks and the other, you can make your whole thing. But the reason why I say that, because you got to look at what the situation that Baker came into. You can say whatever you want about the Browns. It's the Browns. You feel me? 0-16 and like 1-15. There's 2-4, 1-15, like back-to-back seasons. Like he came to the Browns. So it's like first year surprised everybody. He did good. He won a game. That's how you know how bad that the team was. That they was 0-5. They won a game. We won a 5. So
they sure did put Tyrod Taylor out the way.
So they won a game. I like Baker. Baker is I'm not gonna say he's like he's not on Mahomes level, nothing like, but Baker has he got an eye for football. Like he knows how to like play. Like he make plays too himself. So let me see something. Let me look at the stat right here. Because Baker is definitely top 10 in all the categories this year, passing yards, all that stuff. So, I mean, he's number 10. I mean, it's not too many. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. He's not average. He's good. He's a good quarterback, and he's playing for the Browns at that. So culture matters as well. So they do got a good O-line, and yes, he plays better when Odell is not playing. That is the truth, because Odell is. He demands reception. He needs catches. You paying him an
overrated slot receiver.
You paying him all that money. I don't think Odell overrated. I think he's on the wrong team.
No,
I think Odell
really, because when he was the Giants, what did he do? He gave you a bunch of one-handed catches.
I just think he's on the wrong team.
Did he win a Super Bowl with the one-handed catches? Did he
on the wrong team?
One-handed catches? Was he the
wide receiver
with the one-handed catches?
A wide receiver can't win the Super Bowl. The quarterback got to.
So it's just like that's why I added all these other stats though. Was Odell leading in any of those other stats in any of the years that he's been in the NFL? Or was somebody always better than Odell Beckham?
Odell was always arguably top 3 in the league.
And Odell Beckham was suspended one year, and he was hurt. He never really played a full season.
Thank you.
And
when he played, he was like,
don't give me no injuries. Don't give me no injuries, because then you're gonna make the situation worse. Don't give me injuries. Don't tell me he couldn't do something because he was hurt. That don't make the situation better. Don't do that. Nah, come up with something else. If you tell
Mark is giving.
So that made Jadeveon Clowney good? Because he could have his career.
I like that. That's good. I like that.
All right. Is that Mark Bennett?
I like that. No, we good. I like that. That was it. That was my point. I like that. That was good. That was my point. I do think Baker is top. He's number 10.
First of all,
top 10 in all the categories. He's number 10.
The only thing he's top 10 in right now is interceptions, because he's tied for 6 interceptions. That's the only thing he's top 10 in. He is tied for 25th in touchdown. He's only thrown 6 touchdowns this year, sir. And for yards, he's only thrown for 15, and not even 15 exactly, but 1,500 yards. That's 19th in the NFL. He is not top 10 in either one of those categories. Those are 2 main. And he's like Joe said, he's 25th in QBR, 41.6. That is terrible. He is not a top 10 quarterback. I'm sorry. There's no getting no if, ands, or buts about it. He's not a top 10 quarterback. Dak is better than him. Kirk Cousins is better than him. Brady. I mean, Joe already named all the players. And why does everyone keep blaming Odell Beckham? Odell Beckham has not been a problem since he's been there. Has he done any of those antics since he got to Cleveland? No. Has he had any other issues other than him being injured? No. So why we keep putting the blame on Odell Beckham? Odell
I'm gonna
Beckham,
show you why. Give me a second. I'll bring that point up.
he's been quiet.
7-7, 6-10, 11-5.
He
played for the Browns.
He's been chilling this entire time. This whole year, he hasn't said anything. He hasn't demanded catches. This is all speculation that you have to give him targets. No, follow the game plan. I bet you if you follow the game plan and you win, he ain't gonna complain. That year, the Giants went to the playoffs. Did he complain about catches? No.
They went to the playoffs, and he was a part of that reasoning. But when they got in trouble and they had to go from Odell, he started crying. When cornerbacks started picking on him, he started crying.
But has he cried this year? Has he been an issue this year? No,
he can't. He don't have a choice. He got to keep his mouth shut. I'm gonna be honest about that. He don't have to sit here and do all this.
He's quiet.
But out of 5 games, bro, he had. You can't put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of the 5 games he played, he's only had 2 with 5 catches. He's only had 2
the leader of the team. Isn't Baker Mayfield the leader of the team? Isn't he the captain? Isn't he the quarterback? Isn't he supposed to be able to lead?
This is a running offense. But Matt, this is an offensive team. This is not a passing team at all.
First of all, his rookie year, he only played 12 games. He had 1,300 yards. He averaged the most yards per game as a rookie, more than any receiver in the league. As a rookie, remember that.
Leonard Fournette was great as a rookie too.
Who's that? Who?
Leonard Fournette was great as a rookie too.
All his year for the Giants, he had 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards, 1360 yards. All that is good. And then he got injured. And then he came back with New York. He only played 12 games, had 1,000 yards playing 12 games. Then he goes to Cleveland. He had his worst year. He had 1,000 yards, his worst year since he's been in the NFL, his first year in Cleveland. I don't think it has nothing to do with Odell. It has everything to do with Odell.
Asking me that. How come people aren't winning with Odell?
Put Baker in another system.
How come people aren't winning with Odell?
But you got to look at
it. He was on the team with the Giants. Am I right?
Yes.
Why weren't they winning with him?
Wait, with the Giants?
Did you have Eli? You mean 2-time Super Bowl champion Eli?
But
when did he ever make us in the grade?
You gonna tell me Eli was the issue?
Okay, 2 times they won a Super Bowl. They were a wild card.
Eli was throwing him the football.
Exactly, and it was because of the defense. It wasn't because of Eli.
Him the ball. You got a whole team of guys that still need the ball too. You got to spread the ball.
They won a Super Bowl because of
Matt, 2 times he won a Super Bowl. They were a wild card. They were never a dominant team going to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. And then also when he went,
but a receiver, it's not like they needed a receiver to get there. They had a great defense. And he made the plays he needed to play in the playoffs to win, right?
But he was the one.
Had receivers. What you mean?
But he was the one that kept him afloat. And then you look at when he went to Cleveland, his first year, I get that, right? His first year, blah blah. Then he ended up getting hurt. When they finally get a new coach and a new culture, he didn't play, and they end up being good. But that has nothing to do with Odell. It's a whole culture change.
I'm gonna say we don't know that. All I'm saying is I'm just pointing out that fact that when Odell was on the field, they did not win a lot of games. And the year he just happened to be hurt and not playing with their team. And they were passing the ball very well. I mean, in that same year, Baker threw for 3,500 yards.
Okay. Matt, let me ask you a question then.
He only had 8 interceptions that year.
Another receiver outside of Odell that we said, right, every time this quarterback plays with this good receiver, he plays worse. It's a receiver fault. I've never seen it before in my life that we're blaming the receiver.
That is true.
We're blaming the receiver why the team's not winning. It's the quarterback.
I'm picking on Odell. I'm picking on Odell because I'm personally believe. Because again, I'm sticking with my premise that he's overrated. I'm sticking with my premise that he's overrated.
You put Odell anywhere else with a good quarterback.
To me, I get nothing from Odell in a football game.
Put Odell in another.
You winning? He's not scoring that last touchdown that got you to win, is he? He's not putting up 2-3 touchdowns.
Hey, we'll take him.
You got Jamar Chase, a whole rookie. He done scored a touchdown every.
He their main player. If Odell went to
he throwing Chase the ball.
Guess whose fault it is? Guess whose fault it is coming to the Browns and not expecting them to be a run team? Because the moment they drafted Chubb,
that was a trade
football game. But the Browns were a run team since Nick Chubb got drafted. So they should have never brought Odell over.
That was because of the way Odell was acting with the Giants. I think they gave him the
Browns' fault. That shouldn't have been the Browns' fault.
I know that's the Giants did that. They did that to set Odell up for failure. They did that literally on purpose, in my opinion, to set him up for failure because of all the stuff that was going on at the time.
Oh, I think it was a setup. I do believe that. Yeah, I believe that was a failure setup, and it just didn't work. And now the Browns.
Yeah.
Because
and the Browns got to let him go. The thing is, he shouldn't have re-signed. I know you tried to re-sign and probably make it seem like, okay, I am a team player. Like I can, it don't matter where I'm at, I'm a team player. But it does matter. Your team does matter, and I think that's the reason why. I think he's holding Baker Mayfield back because Baker Mayfield is way better than whatever y'all like. He's better than what y'all think.
You can't sit there and have that.
He went to the Browns.
You can look at him last year. He threw less than 10 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions without Odell.
He only threw 3 this year.
A bunch of scrub receivers, and they went to the playoffs.
He got 3 already. He got 8 all season last year.
He went to he had Landry
6
scrubs, and they went to the playoffs. He didn't have Njoku because Njoku was out last year.
But when have we ever said a receiver is messing up a quarterback? I've never heard that before in my life.
No. I don't know. It's not the receiver that's messing up the quarterback. It's the game plan. They keep trying to get
the game. Matter of fact, I'll give you an example. I know what he's meaning. He's meaning the game plan, not necessarily the person.
Yeah, the game plan.
Look at the Chargers, right? Who was the leading receiver until this year?
Oh, Keenan Allen.
It was Keenan Allen.
Who was number 2? Mike Williams. And because Mike Williams was number 2 and the type of routes that he was getting, who stayed hurt? Mike Williams. The new coach came over, completely changed that offense to go through who? Mike
Williams.
That's not true. Keenan Allen still get more targets, I think, than Mike Williams.
Hey, no, the offense.
Keenan Allen's second fiddle, right? But because the offense is working prolifically through the way it needs to go, that's why they're 5-1 or 4-2, and that's why their offense moves the way it needs to move.
Keenan Allen still gets more targets than Mike Williams.
Same with the Patriots. You can't just stick a quarterback in there. The quarterback has to know the game plan or understand the game plan.
The game plan is different, though. The game plan is The game plan is meant to go through Mike Williams. That's why Sandy is not going through Keenan Allen.
It's not going through Keenan Allen.
But Keenan Allen gets open.
Okay, look. So
if he's open like
the focus now, and they've actually. I was listening to Good Morning Football. They put the focus is Mike Williams. It's not.
Yeah, I watched that same thing.
The focus is not Odell. The focus is Landry. You watch that game?
No.
They get
Hold on. It's Landry now. Under Stefanski, it's Landry now.
That's what I'm saying.
The game plan was Odell. They got to get Odell the ball.
You're gonna bring a $90 million contract over and make him number 2?
If y'all watch the games, like Matt said, Landry on the receiving end, Landry is more of a focal point. Landry gets more screen passes, he gets more short passes than Odell does. That's how you get a receiver a ball. You throw a screen pass.
But again, I don't know if y'all saw the report. If you notice, he had see. Here's the thing. This is why I say that Odell Beckham does get in the way. And if y'all don't think that your contract and what's in your contract about how many touches and catches somebody like a receiver is supposed to get, you guys are sadly mistaken.
Especially with that much money.
When they brought that $90 million contract over, that contract states Odell Beckham is supposed to get a certain amount of targets. He is, you can almost say he's guaranteed that because of his contract and the way it's written up. You ain't getting paid $90 million unless you catch a certain amount of balls, right? I mean,
that's true.
The Giants gave him that stupid ass contract because they thought he was gonna come over here and do something. You got the targets are what's important to the contract, right? The receiver ain't getting the contract if he can't catch more than 7 balls. So Odell has to get his targets based on what the contract is paying him. It's just like you're not gonna pay a quarterback $140 million guaranteed for only throwing 2,700 yards, or you're gonna pay the quarterback that's throwing 4,300 yards. That kind of money. So Odell he got paid because of what he was doing with New York.
Yeah, but he can't. Now he's
contract because what he did with New York. But the Browns should have never brought that contract over because they should have never been.
They never should have extended it.
Contract over when you want to be a passing.
Never should have extended this contract. Never should have.
When you want to be a passing offense, that's when you do that to Odell Beckham. For instance, the Bengals would have been perfect to take on that contract because
what
offense.
Or the Ravens.
Perfect to take on that contract.
The Ravens would have been good.
Passing offense. He wouldn't have looked overrated either. But when you go to a running offense, okay, look at A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a top receiver, and he's second fiddle because of Derrick Henry. I mean, I'm in fantasy because I can't play A.J. Brown. Why? Because they are a running team, period. And when you are a focal point running team, you're not going to get the targets to the receivers that they need to get. And if you notice, running teams don't pay receivers, do they? You tell me one receiver with a high contract on a running offense.
Julio.
Julio came over with a contract.
Odell did too.
He came over with a contract.
So did Odell.
I'm talking about, you tell me on an offense that's a running offense, you tell me how that organization literally comes out of pocket for a player on the team, not bringing somebody over.
Yeah, but the Browns brought Odell over though.
That's what I'm saying.
No, that was a trade.
What team have
I'm saying they brought him over. They
in NFL history?
Odell.
What running team in NFL history? Like for instance, you think AJ Brown finna get paid?
He extended his contract though.
No, he's not. He ain't getting paid, bro. They're a running team.
No, I don't think they're gonna get rid of AJ Brown.
Tag before he gets paid.
Not get rid of him, but he's not getting paid.
He stays hurt.
He's not getting. Yeah, I get what you're saying with that, but yeah.
Contract.
All right, let's go to next. Let's go to the next one, right? But yeah, Odell, Beggar, that's another story. All right, but yeah. So listen, we're gonna take another break, another great segment, and then look, we're gonna hit y'all with 3 questions back to back, and then we're gonna end it after that. So we'll see y'all after the break. All right, welcome back to Refuse to Lose, episode 3 of the weekend special. We got 3 more questions we're gonna do back to back, and the first one is gonna be this. So look, we had a lot of teams that had great expectations this year. So we got to talk about who do we think are the most disappointing teams of the year so far. And I'm gonna start it off. And look, y'all, it's the Washington football team. I'm gonna start with that. All right, it's the Washington football team. Let me tell you why. So look, the Washington football team came in a season with a lot of expectations. All right. The offense, we were not expecting an explosive offense. But I'm not going to lie to you, the offense at times looked better than what I thought they would, right? But this defense is the problem. Last year, right? So we had high expectations. I had Chase Young being the defensive player of the year. I thought we would be a top 2, top 3 defense once again. Last year, right? Our defense was 2nd in yards allowed, 2nd in passing allowed, 4th in points allowed, 6th in interceptions, 8th in total turnovers. This year, we are the worst passing defense in the league. I think we are 2nd worst in total yards. And look at this. This is what stood out to me the most, y'all. Last year, nobody on our team was top 10 in yards allowed, basically, right? Nobody on our team individually was top 10 yards allowed. The closest person was Ronald Darby. He was 19th. This year, we got 3 people in the secondary that are top 10 in yards allowed per game. We got Kendall Fuller, that's number 2 yards per game. We got Mr. $14 million a year, $14 million, William Jackson III, which I think we should have cut 2 games ago. He's 7th in the league in yards allowed. And $84 million man himself, Landon Collins, overrated safety of the year, 10th right now in yards allowed. Chase Young. I'm so disappointed in Chase Young. Matt, you said it right. He's Clowney 2.0. All right, until he get his act together. So far for the year, he has 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass deflection. 1 pass deflection. He's supposed to be a dominant lineman, right? He has 3 tackles for loss for the whole year and only 4 QB hits for the whole year. Our defense went from top 2 to bottom 2 overnight, just like that. Points allowed per game, we're worse in the league in points allowed per game, which is ridiculous. All right, so the moment I realized about the Washington football team, their offense and defense can never match. We either gonna have a great defense and a bad offense, and a good offense and a bad defense. All right, we can never put two times. We never put it together. I just don't understand. So I believe like the best years we ever had offensively since I've been living watching football was RG3 year. We had a great offense, but the defense was terrible. Last year was probably since LeVar Arrington left us, this is probably the best defense we had statistically since LeVar Arrington left, and our offense was terrible. We can never match things up. I thought we would have a good defense. We don't, and that's my worst. That's the most disappointing team of the year to me so far.
In my opinion, I am going to 100% agree with you on that one. Washington football team is the biggest, and I mean the biggest disappointment. They had all the hype in the offseason. They supposedly got great help. I don't know if it's the scheme that they playing or if the players are in the wrong position. See, they just moved Landon Collins to linebacker, so I'm gonna see if that actually works. They supposed to have been did that. So I think with Jeremy Reeves and the other safety we got, I forgot his name with the dreads. I can't even think of his name right now. He was a rookie last year. Ball dog.
Curl.
Yeah, Cameron Curl. See, Cam Curl, they played like Jeremy Reason, they played the safety position. So they had everything back there on lock. They was moving. Cam Curl was playing. He was downhill. He was doing everything in the box. He was just checking tight ends. They put Landon Collins in the same spot, and the defense go downhill. They got another safety, Bobby McCain, Jeremy Reeves on the practice squad. Defense go downhill. So it's just like, I feel like the additions that they added wasn't like better than what we already had. We had players last year that didn't really get clocked, that played, that showed why they deserve to be in the NFL. And they're not getting clocked now because of the players that was injured last year. So it's just like, maybe the coaching need to switch up the roles a little bit, because he's right about two things. Like, we can never have a good offense and a good defense in the same season. That is 100% true. Chase Young ain't doing nothing this season. They is like, in the beginning they was double teaming, but then they started lacking off, and I started looking at the pressures myself, and it be one-on-ones. He just don't be winning. And on top of that, if you look at it, the quarterbacks that be playing sometimes, they get rid of the ball a lot faster than they used to now. So it's not like they holding the ball. Whenever it's like a third and long situation, I'm just like, come on, we got it. We 19-yard pass. It's 3rd and 20. You just do a 19-yard pass. Like, so I think that's the biggest disappointment. I mean, I think that's the biggest, like, in the whole NFL. Like, that right there, the Washington football team is like the biggest disappointment in the whole NFL. But I love my team, and I really think they can get it together. It's only week 6. The defense, I gave them until week 6 to get the defense together. So week 7, they got to do something. Like, they have to. Like, they don't have the turnovers they had. They just got to play. The defense has to play a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Just every week, just a little bit better every week. And out of nowhere, start from 30 to 15. I'll be fine with that. As long as 30 to 15, I'll be fine with that. As long as we're not top 20 and like bad 20 in defense, that's terrible. That's the worst. Biggest disappointment so far. Biggest by far. I can't even think of nothing else that's more disappointing than that. So yeah, that's
Well, I would say it's consensus, but I'm a go with someone else. Although y'all made some great points with Washington, y'all defense has played terrible this year. But I'm gonna go with Kansas City. I think Kansas City is the most disappointing team this year, based on what everyone believed them to be. Everyone thought they were going to run away with the AFC again this year and go to the Super Bowl. I didn't think that, only because of I looked at history. Most Super Bowl losing teams don't do well the next year. I think I mentioned that before in the argument that we had earlier. But the Chiefs just aren't exactly what they thought they were. Patrick Mahomes is turning the ball over entirely too much. Even though they have a good running game, it's only because of Patrick Mahomes. It's not because of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Tyreek Hill's getting double teamed. They figure him out. They're not letting him get away. They're not letting Travis Kelce get all the catches he get, and it seems like almost every time he gets hit, he gets hurt. So and I mean, we all know the defense isn't good, but the defense was always able to at least help out Patrick Mahomes when he turned the ball over, and they're just not doing that this year. So I personally think the Kansas City Chiefs are the most disappointing team this year, even though they're only 3-3. They're 1-3 in the conference, which is not good. So, I mean, supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team, and you have a losing record in your conference, doesn't look like you're going to go to Super Bowl to me, and that's pretty disappointing to a high-power offense and one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the league, top 2, top 3. You can put him; he's top 5 automatically. But to be turning the ball over that bad, and it's on him. He's making bad passes. He's doing bad mistakes. Some of them weren't on him. Some of them are on Tyreek Hill because he's not catching the ball like he should. But still, some of those passes he just shouldn't be making. And I'm gonna just go with Kansas City. I would have at least thought that they would be at least top of the division right now, maybe 5-1, but not 3-3.
So I had thought long, hard about this one. And at one point, Washington was my team. But I changed that. And before I go to mine, though, I want to add something. You did make a point, just Washington, either they have a great defense, no offense, or they have a great offense, no defense. But there is one constant that unfortunately is still eating at them. they can't keep a running back healthy. I don't know what their problem is. As long as I know the Washington football team, they can't keep a running back healthy for nothing, man. And I was really big on Gibson myself, especially in fantasy. Oh, we're gonna play him like they do McCaffrey. The only person on the NFL right now I'm seeing get used anywhere near close to McCaffrey is my number one pick, Jonathan Taylor. That's it. That's the closest that I've seen where a running back is used like McCaffrey, not Antonio Gibson. And it's his toe, it's his shin, it's always something. Like, this dude is always hurt. But yeah, Washington, man, they can't keep offense with the defense or vice versa. But they sure can't keep a running back healthy. But no, my most disappointing team is unfortunately the Denver Broncos. You started off 3-0, but unfortunately they were against bottom-feeding teams. And then the moment you got a taste of an actual team, you cracked the bed hard. And then you did it the next week. And then you did it the next week. You lost 3 straight games because you simply can't afford. You lost 4 straight games. I forgot about you lost 4 straight games because you simply can't win. You're not turning the ball over. You're not fumbling the ball. You're not even getting penalties that are pushing you back that bad. You just can't win.
Just losing.
That's a great point.
Excuse me. Like, it's bad. Like, the defense can't stop a cold. Von Miller's done. Whatever that issue is you had with that model girlfriend of yours did something to you when that baby came out her belly. And, bro, you ain't been the same since. You haven't been the same since your injury, to be honest with you. Chubb can't play a football game at all. I don't know when this guy's going to play a full season. It don't look like it's going to be this year, though. So, again, there goes that defense getting hit up front. So all these guys in the back, all they can do is play the pass. It's just the defense isn't – it fell apart so fast. You have Jerry Jeudy. I get that he's hurt. You still have who I think is another overrated receiver, and I think he's more overrated than doggone Odell Beckham Jr., and that's Cortland Sutton sorry behind. This man is hot garbage, man. I mean, my God. The only reason why he's getting the ball is because he's the only one that can actually get somewhat open. You put Jerry Jeudy back out there, he's number 3. This is absolutely atrocious when you watch this dude. Like, these people have been waiting for Cortland Sutton to show up since his rookie season, and it's just not coming. It's not coming. I don't know what's, it's bad. You got Melvin Gordon who can still run the ball and catch out the backfield very effectively, and you have a really good rookie running back. And yet you guys just can't put it together. You can't put it together against good teams in order to muster more than 14 points.
He's a better quarterback.
It's taking you 4 quarters in a league now where to be good, you got to at least throw 4. You can only muster 2. And that's bad football. I don't know if it's Teddy B. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I think it's Nick Fangio. I think he got to go. It's so much. When you look at that Broncos team, they should not be 3-4 right now. Look at that team as a complete unit. There is no way. 4-2, yes. 3-3, yeah, I'll give you that. And not with back-to-back losses, just with some hiccups along the way. But you lost 4 straight games because you're just bad. Because you just can't score. You can't even kick a field goal. It's like you guys cannot get past the 40. It's the weirdest thing. And then when you do get in the red zone, that's your 1 or 2 touchdowns. You didn't see that the rest of the game. And look how lucky the Javonte Williams touchdown was. He had to stretch out for that bad boy. It's just, they don't have a quarterback. I don't think Teddy B is the answer this year.
Teddy B is not the answer.
And it damn sure ain't Drew Lock. So
I think they messed
It ain't
up.
Drew Lock neither. Yep.
It's the fact is that the Broncos are about to go. They're about to hit it. They're about to go down.
They got to trade for a quarterback. They have to. They got to get something good.
They won't. What they're gonna do is they're gonna take this L and they're gonna get that pick in the draft.
They should address it.
Or they're gonna wait for Aaron Rodgers next season.
Or that. Or that. That might be the one they wait. That one is because he's either going there or he's going to the Raiders. But the way Carr is playing great football, that one I think is gone now. I think it will be Denver.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many weapons over there for him to not go. And now you got to worry about a trade to do it.
They better hope. They better hope he goes to Denver because
here's why I say he won't. If the Packers win the Super Bowl, because I had him in there in that picture, if they do win the Super Bowl, he will retire. He's not coming back.
I don't know. I think he's gonna try. I think he's gonna try to do what Brady did. I think he's gonna try to play as long as he possibly could. Mm-mm. But I think he got to get.
If you look at Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers ain't that kind of guy. Aaron Rodgers.
I think he got to get traded. Not with Green Bay. He's not gonna be that guy.
If Aaron Rodgers loves life. If he wins a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, he's done. He is done. He will not hop to another team to go win a Super Bowl. He's not that. First of all, he was ready to retire with the one that he got.
Yeah, because of the Green Bay is not cooperating with him at all.
He has and you know what he could have
retired. We go to the next topic.
Oh, yeah.
We go to the next topic. All right. But yeah, but the end of this one, the Broncos were 3-0. They won all their games against winless teams. And since being 3-0, they've been going into the fourth quarter losing by 2 possessions. So they lost every game really out of control. They never were in the game. So that's that. All right, so our next question is this, y'all. So I'm gonna kick this question to you, Mark. Mark, here's your question right here. Which under 500 team has the best chance to make the playoffs this year?
The team under 500, the best chance to make the playoffs, in my opinion, what I'm gonna say is the Patriots, because Bill Belichick. You can say whatever you want about the team. Bill Belichick is one hell of a coach. Boy, that man can coach his way out of anything. So and they second place in their division. Their division is terrible. So I mean, they have a chance. They're not solid as they should be on defense, but they're better than they're solid enough. And I feel like they can get stops. And Mac Jones can play game manager enough, but they running backs keep getting hurt. So I just need for them to they running backs stay I need them to play Ramondre Stevenson more. The person they drafted, or both of the rookies they drafted, that they play. I think they might be the only team that might be under 500 right now. That's a possibility that probably could make the playoffs. And I can't give you nothing else under 500 right now. Not even Washington, as bad as I had it.
I agree with you, Mark. That was gonna be my pick. It was gonna be the Patriots. Mac Jones has played well as a rookie. Not bad, not great, but he's played good enough to at least keep them in games. So I mean, have they been blown out this year at all? I don't think so. And that's what an okay defense. The Matt Judon is the best person they have on the defense. They don't have a good cornerback anymore. They just gave him away to the Panthers. So I mean, what else do you have on the defense other than him? So I definitely, it's still to be seen if Belichick is really not as good as a coach as some people may be questioning now, since Brady had went and won a Super Bowl last year without him. But I still think he's good enough to have a rookie go into the playoffs. Plus, I mean, like he said, the division is terrible.
The teams they lost to are not, they're not like they're bad teams, and it's like it was a close game. I mean,
the only bad game they lost was with the Dolphins, right? But that's a division. So you can't really call it a bad loss because it's a division game.
And they lost 17-16.
When Tom Brady Brady lost to them too last time he was there in New England. So you can't really.
Their worst loss was against the Saints.
It's a division game. That's like the Cowboys losing to the Giants. It's a division game. So it's possible that it may happen. That's like the Cardinals losing to San Francisco. They almost lost to us a couple weeks ago. So it's bound to happen. It's a division game. Division games are the most unpredictable games you can get.
I mean, I always put home division games above any other game. If you got a home division game, I'm gonna give you that win. Just the simple fact for the fact it's a home in this division. I take that L, but that's why I'm giving you that win, because it's a home division game.
Unless you're the Texans or the Lions, then
right, or
pretty much have a good chance to win a division.
Right. I mean, you got the Seattle Seahawks too. Same time. I just realized, yeah. So I mean, but like I feel like the Patriots got a better chance of Seattle, because Seattle's defense is so bad.
Yeah.
The defense is too bad. So it's like Russell gonna come back. If they step up, they have a possibility of doing it. But like the only team I really see right now really is the Patriots. Yeah. They have offense and defense that can actually stay in games. So yeah.
So I wrote down the Patriots, but for every point that you all made, that's why I went away from it because, and not today, but in general, just at everything, I had went away from them for the simple fact they're close in every game.
Yeah.
Before. So something is not letting them push that threshold to win these games. I had them coming into this season before the season started. I had them at 8-9, and that was with Cam Newton. I had him at 8-9. With the new schedule, with the new game added, I only had the Patriots winning 8 games. When the rookie came and they got their first round pick, I had them winning 8 games. When the rookie got the start, the Patriots winning 8 games. I don't have the Patriots going over 8 games because if you look at their schedule won't allow them to go over 8 games. They've won and lost the games that they're supposed to right now. It actually had them going like, what are they, 2-4? And I think they just have somewhere they back-to-backs or they lost 4 or whatever it was.
They lost back-to-backs. They never lose 3 in a row. They did lose back-to-back.
But when I did their schedule on mine, I had it win-loss. Like I had it listed like now because that's how their schedule, like their schedule was built that way. Like the ones that were losses, like they're going to lose. They're not going to win that with that rookie quarterback. Even with the defense ain't as great as it used to be. That's not the Vince Wilfork defense, 3-4 defense that the Patriots run. This is a very, very, very different Patriots defense that's giving up points. It's not stopping you like they used to. And they never were a stoppage defense. They were a bend and don't break defense. But they're breaking.
I mean, they're not really giving up that many points.
They're not giving up. They're giving up enough to not win.
They gave up 17 to the Dolphins, 6 to the Jets.
And the reason why they're giving them up is because the other team is getting good field position on the Patriots. That's that. Remember, back in the day, you don't get field position on the Patriots. You're gonna work 80 yards up the field. You ain't doing that no more against them. You can start from the 50, from the 45 now. So you make it a little easier to get more points on the Patriots. So that's why I already had them out the playoffs this year. Actually, I had them at an 8-9 schedule. So I'm not that I had them under 5, but I had them with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks right now is just so bad. It's either Pete Carroll got to go, Russell Wilson got to go, only because the moment they paid that man that contract,
let's go Washington.
They said bye to that defense. The minute they paid him all that money, they had to say bye. As any team that pays a quarterback, you're gonna say bye to your defense. It's just that's the way the money works, And so now they're in a situation where they got a really good receiver in DK Metcalf. You still got Tyler Lockett, but you have absolutely no run game. Don't let that Alex Collins stuff fool you. That ain't gonna stay here. Now you got a whole 4 or 5 games you got to play with Geno Smith. Geno, the guy who on the first game he had a chance to win through a pick on the first drive. The second chance he had to win in overtime, he fumbled the ball. Geno Smith ain't winning football games. He had 2 chances to do that. So it's not looking good for Seattle, and Seattle is going to stay below 500 and hopefully use a draft pick for something on defense on the line or something this year, linebacker maybe for next year. But no, my under 500 team that I have making the playoffs, Indianapolis Colts. They're in the right division. They're number 2 in their division. You think the Jaguars are going anywhere? You really think the Houston Texans are going anywhere? The Titans will be right there where they need to be. And so right behind them is the Indianapolis Colts. And I only have the Colts winning like 10, 11 games. If that, it may be 9, but they will be in wild card weekend. They'll be at the Super Wild Card weekend. Their schedule will allow them to be. They have a good quarterback in Carson Wentz. Which is weird because they should have lost to the Seahawks in week 1. As bad as they are, but they did. So it's just, I know they still got some it's they got that early season chemistry kinks they need to work out, and if they can use that, this just might be the season they do it. So they're going to take some tough losses, but hopefully it won't be no more than 8 losses. And if they do that, they'll be well in wild card weekend.
Okay. All right. Those some good picks. All right, those some good picks. So the under 500 team I agree. The Colts. I picked the Colts also. All right. So look, it's the first person I agree with all day today. But look, the Colts had one of the toughest starts to the season of anybody in the NFL. Now we can't say Seattle was bad. They not really bad. They had a tough schedule themselves. You look at it, right? Before Russell Wilson got hurt, they were in that Rams game, and then he got hurt, and then they were still in it, but they was in that. They could have beat the Rams. Now the Colts' first 4 out of 5 games were this: they played Seattle, they played the Rams, they played the Titans, and they played the Ravens. And all those games were winnable. All 4 of those games I watched, except for the Seahawks. Believe it or not, the Seahawks was the only game that I watched that it wasn't winnable. They could have beat the Titans. They definitely could have beat the Rams. Carson Wentz got injured at the last drive. The backup came in, threw an interception on the game-winning drive. And then the Ravens, we watched that Ravens game. I know we all watched that. The Colts should have ran away with that game, but they let the Ravens come back, right? So, and the Colts, right? The Colts, their next 3 to 4 games. 3 out, because when it comes to the NFL, you need momentum. You need to get a couple of easy games, get some wins in, and you gain some momentum. The next 3 out of 4 games they play sub 500 teams. You look at the Titans, who are 2 games above them. Their next 4 games, they play the Chiefs, the Rams, the Saints, and they play the Colts. So the Colts can even up that division. The Saints could beat the Titans. They're capable enough to beat the Titans. The Rams could beat the Titans, and so can the Chiefs. So 4 weeks from now, we could be looking at this division, and the Colts could be winning, or they could be tied. We never know. So not only the Colts have a good opportunity to make it to the playoffs, they still got a good opportunity to win the division, because the Colts have their defense is not terrible. The offense is not terrible. It's like average on both ends. Average offense, average defense. People last year Carson Wentz played. He was a terrible turnover machine. This year, he's been taking care of the ball. The only problem the Colts have, they cannot get the ball in the end zone in the red zone. When they get to the red zone, they settle for too many field goals, and then that's a problem I believe they're gonna fix. And then they just got T.Y. Hill back. Remember, he was hurt all year. He just came back, and he had a good game last game. And like Matt said, they play in the same division as the Texans and the Jaguars. Think about that, right? And it's the Texans, right? And the Jaguars, right? So those are 2 guaranteed wins right there. Their defense is better than the Titans. The Titans have a terrible defense. They are literally getting carried by Derrick Henry. And I just trust Wentz way more than I trust Tannehill. So I got the Colts.
That's it right there. I don't
trust Carson Wentz over Tannehill.
Why?
I don't know how y'all say that.
Tannehill
has been doing his thing since he's been playing. Carson Wentz is.
Where has he doing this year?
Carson Wentz has been doing the thing since he's been playing. If I'm not mistaken,
this
it was Carson Wentz that took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles just won the Super Bowl.
MVP candidate too.
And put all the wins together. They won Nick Foles. And then the second season that Carson Wentz couldn't play again in the playoffs, who got them to the playoffs again? Carson Wentz.
With a terrible team.
Hasn't thrown under 3,300 yards.
No, he was good. Don't get me wrong. Carson Wentz is good. But
Carson Wentz.
You said Tannehill.
No. Carson Wentz is good. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I think Tannehill has did what he's proven when he was in the playoffs all
Tannehill proves that he can throw the ball
on play action.
The ball. He can manage the game for you. Carson Wentz came in the league throwing. He came in the league with no running backs. This is Carson Wentz's first year with an actual
running back. Tannehill came in the league as a receiver.
The best part about it is he gets to throw the ball to this running back because he's a catching back. Carson Wentz ain't never had nothing prolific like this. You gonna sit here and tell me who that little boy over there with the Eagles right now that can't run the ball? You gonna tell me
that's not his fault. That's the coach's fault not running the ball with him. But look, Tannehill is not
his running back when Carson was with the Eagles.
So Miles Sanders?
Sanders, you think that's who was supposed to be Carson Wentz's
running back? They had like 3 or 4 running backs.
Mark, Carson Wentz having a better year than Tannehill.
Didn't do nothing. Miles Sanders didn't do nothing.
Oh yes, he is. He is having a better year.
Mark, he is having better year than Tannehill. Tannehill got Julio, AJ Brown, and Derrick Henry. And you telling me that he should be a top 3-5 quarterback right now?
And Tannehill hasn't thrown over for 3. Tannehill ain't thrown.
Tennessee is just like we said earlier. Tennessee is a running team. They're not a passing team. They're a running team.
That's why Tannehill not better than Carson
Wentz.
Wentz.
What I'm saying is, I can take Carson Wentz on any team.
He's not a better player. He's been doing better than Carson Wentz.
I can't take Tannehill. Here's why I tell you Tannehill is not better than Carson Wentz. Tannehill is a system quarterback. The Titans run a play action run.
Yes, heavy play action.
They will live and die by the run and the play action. They're not gonna have Carson Wentz to sit and drop back and throw the ball 40 times.
First of all, Carson Wentz is injury prone.
They will lose and win by that identity, and they've done that so far.
I give you that, Mark. He is injury prone.
Carson Wentz is he's not dependable. He's injury prone. Then on top of that, he's having a good year, but you got to realize, Carson Wentz hold the ball too long.
Carson Wentz was injury prone with the Eagles offensive line that didn't protect him. He was holding too many. I'm saying, I'm just saying, this is the Carson Wentz pass. This is what Carson Wentz does. This is how we know he did have an amazing first year when they went to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles finished it for him, and then he got injured again. He's not durable at all.
But here's the thing:
Tannehill will be durable. But what I'm telling you right now,
Tannehill is a system
win right now.
He can throw the ball.
I'm gonna play with a guy that's gonna give me 300 yards a game.
Yeah, see, Matt. Carson
Wentz last season when
Carson Wentz gonna lose you a game.
Just like they said about Odell Beckham, right? Odell Beckham only played 10, 11 games 1 year, but he put up 1,000 yards, right? Carson ain't got to he ain't got to play a whole season and can still put up over 3,300 passing yards. He throws for over 300 yards in a game.
If he can't
break 250.
He can't break. Okay, so if you're telling me if he can't play more than 10 games, what does that do for his team?
But Mark, I get you on the injury spot.
He's winning those games. He's not losing them, but he's not losing them, is he? He's winning them.
But look, real quick, Carson Wentz
and then got hurt. They 10-0, and then he got hurt. I'm not going to be mad at him for that.
But look, Carson Wentz was in a bad situation in Philly. He had no protection, none of stuff. And
he just won a Super Bowl.
No, I'm talking about after that, everybody was hurt and everything. And look, number 2.
He won a Super Bowl.
Real quick. Carson Wentz can win you a game. Tannehill can't. The reason why the Titans have made that playoff run because of Derrick Henry. They got a good lead. They got a good lead, and they fed Derrick Henry. The moment they didn't have a quick lead, they had to depend on Tannehill. What happened in the playoffs?
When the Titans get behind in points, what do? They do
every time they get behind.
They still run the ball and lose because they can't just say, "All right, Tannehill, here you go." They've never done that ever.
This is the worst year Tannehill probably ever had so far. This year.
His worst year was with Miami. That's under Adam Gase.
Even when he was with Miami, he had a 92. His quarterback rating was 92.7, which is really good. The following year, 117.
Baker Mayfield was 97.
Look,
Baker Mayfield was 97.
17 touchdowns, 9
He's better than Baker Mayfield.
22-6 with the Titans. 22-6, 33-7 last year. It's 6-4 this year. Tannehill is a good quarterback.
He is a good quarterback. But I would pick Carson Wentz over Tannehill because
Carson Wentz is not durable at all.
I have never watched Tannehill take the Titans to the Super Bowl.
He's not durable at all, and because he's not durable, Carson Wentz had one of the most beautiful deep balls in the league. That is true. But he holds the ball.
But he won 12 games. He won enough games to get them to the playoffs, didn't he?
Look, you're right. He's not durable.
He gave them the number 1 seed before he got hurt.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next topic. But
and by the way, he puts up full season numbers without playing a full season.
Yeah, he definitely.
I never said he was a bad quarterback. I just take Ryan Tannehill over. He's more durable, and he's not a bad. He's more durable.
Yeah, like the coach when they played the Rams.
Decision making is like that.
When they played the Rams, and the report came out that he injured both of his ankles. I don't think I ever heard that before in my life.
He is injury prone. Some guys just you hit them wrong.
I know, what the world? And he came back.
You can't tell me he ain't tough.
Yeah, he came back and played the next game.
Carson Wentz played through some injuries.
I guess the Texans, I think.
He is tough. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks out there. People,
he is.
Give him that credit.
All right, so let's go to our.
He came out with golf. Golf's scared to get hit. Carson will take
golf.
Golf sucks. Golf's terrible. Get him out of here.
He can't take a hit. That's all. That Patriots, they embarrassed him in that way, and he ain't been right.
Got to get golf out of here.
He just can't take the hit.
All right, so David, this next one.
You stop putting your quarterback in that shotgun and start putting him under center. So learn.
All right, so our last question. So David, this one goes to you, and this is the most debatable question in any sport. All right. So David, based on what we saw so far, who's going to finish MVP this year?
We just talked about him, Derrick Henry. I think he's going to run away with the MVP. He's on track to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record. Like, he could run for 2,300 yards this year. Like, that is ridiculous. And this is in a passing league. This is a passing league, and he's leading his team. It's not Tannehill. It's not the defense. It's him. The Titans is Derrick Henry or nothing else. Plain and simple. If Derrick Henry was hurt, the Titans probably would have only one game so far this year. I'm telling you that right now. Derrick Henry, he has to be running over the MVP this year. You have to understand that Kyler Murray is 6-1 over the Cardinals. I understand that Aaron Rodgers has played well since that first loss against the Saints. But I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry has been balling out this year. He's averaging almost 200 yards per game. Like, this is ridiculous. The line for the game is he's going to run over 126 yards? Was that 160 some yards? That is ridiculous. Vegas has almost never done that. That's like saying that Patrick Mahomes made the over unders for him to do 385 or 400 some yards a game. Like, that's ridiculous. This is a quarterback's league now, and he's taking over in a quarterback's league. What other running back has done that? Since this era started, what other running back has done that other than Adrian Peterson?
Adrian Peterson, CJ2K 1 year,
and that was still a running back league during that time with Chris Johnson in his league. It wasn't much of a passing league as it is now, and even Adrian Peterson, that wasn't much of a passing league at that time. It was transitioning at that time, but it wasn't what it is now. But I mean, you got quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Brady, Russell Wilson. These guys are throwing for 4,400, 4,000, 5,000 yards. And this guy's about to run for almost 2,300 yards. You may have good arguments, but I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I think he is going to run away with the MVP this year.
Yeah, this one was tough. You know, you got Brady, you got Stafford, you got Herbert, Murray, Jackson, Henry, and Dak. I mean, here's why I won't say Henry. The only way Henry does it is he got to hit that 23. He has to. If he just comes close, that's all it is. He came close. Oh man, offensive player of the year is what he'll get. That MVP is going to the man that breaks the touchdown record. And because the NFL slipped in that extra game, and because we have Brady, Stafford, Herbert, Murray, I left off Mahomes. I left him off because he's not going to win MVP. Just collectively with everything they're doing, he has too many turnovers to win MVP right now. But all of these guys have the ability to break that touchdown record, but I'm going to go I'm going to go with Dak.
Oh, wow. Tough pick.
I'm going to say Dak. Here's why I say Dak. If I'm not mistaken, I think 3, maybe 4 games he's played so far. He's thrown over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken, Dak Prescott, he has 2 games, right? Okay. Dak Prescott has at least every game with 3 or more touchdowns, 3 or 4 touchdowns in each game. You don't have to throw 5 touchdowns a game. But if you consistently throw 3 to 4 a game, which he has actually been doing not last year, but the year before that, and then he came in and then got hurt. So Dak Prescott throwing 4 touchdowns a game, it's not brand new. This is what he actually does. And with the way these Cowboys offensively move the ball, I think they're scoring almost on every drive. And if not, they're at least getting a field goal. But if you're scoring on every drive, you don't get that many touches in a football game. And this man is, no matter what, it's him. It's not Zeke. It's Dak with the ball in his hand, giving it to Zeke, giving it to Cooper, giving it to Lamb. Dan Schultz is a beast. The tight end is making a name because of that. See, that is what an MVP does. An MVP creates and makes everyone else around him better. Their defense plays better because of what Dak is doing on the offensive side of the ball. So for me, I'm actually going to say Dak Prescott does win NFL MVP, but then that does take him out of my Super Bowl contendership.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to say, Lamar Demetrius Jackson Jr. Lamar Jackson he is that guy. And it's like hard to stop him. Even if he have a bad game, you still, the second half, you come back and doing something else. Lamar Jackson is on pace to throw for 3,500 yards and run for 1,200. That is mad numbers. You don't see that in person. So, and then on top of that, he's winning. Comebacks is crazy. Like they're winning the game, and they're like really hurt. Their team is really hurt, and they're still winning. I really do believe Lamar Jackson will, like, you know, he's gonna run away with it, the MVP. I ain't say run away. It's gonna be a close one. It really will be a close between him and Kyler. And the reason why I'm not saying Kyler Murray, I just because it's the consistent. That's why I'm not saying Kyler Murray. He got a chance to win MVP too, especially if they stay undefeated the way they do. But I don't think they will. And I think that the Ravens will finish with a better record than the Cardinals will. Therefore, I think the quarterback that has the best record between them two teams will win MVP. That's why I'm picking the Ravens, because I think they're going to have a better record at the end of the season than the Cardinals will. And, you know, no matter, sometimes the stats do play out, sometimes that, but they always give it to the person on the best team. So that's why I'm picking Lamar Jackson.
Kyler Murray's arm bothers me. That arm worries me.
I was looking at the numbers. Like he been throwing some, like, even throwing, rushing, averaging 5 yards a carry almost, and he threw for 400 yards like a couple weeks ago, and 300 yards and 287 and 239. His first game against the Chargers, that was his worst game. He threw for 167. But well, that was not the first game, but the game they just played against the Chargers, that was his worst game in my opinion. But that was a comeback win against the Chargers and Herbert, which is almost another MVP caliber type player right now. So I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson. That's what I'm picking as MVP.
All I'm gonna say is AP's team wasn't the best team in the NFL the year he won the MVP. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, let me go. So look, let me first address the Dak one. All right. First of all, Dak can't win MVP because he ain't when a team comes into a game, their game plan is not for Dak. It's for the running game. So that automatically disqualifies you for being MVP. That's number one. And number two, he's fifth in passing yards only because he just threw over 400 yards. Before that, he was like 8th or 9th in passing yards. So if you're gonna break the touchdown record, you gotta be top in passing yards also to be MVP. And Lamar Jackson, listen, the only way Lamar Jackson will win MVP, he has to do something extraordinary with the numbers. And his numbers is nothing extraordinary. You said 3,500 yards and 1,200 rushing yards. 3,500 passing yards is pedestrian for a quarterback. That's Baker Mayfieldish. All right. So this
is 1,200 rushing.
Let's stick to that. All right. That's NFL quarterback. All right. So here's my pick. David, I got Derrick Henry myself. All right. It's Derrick Henry. Let me tell you why it's Derrick Henry. Number one. Like the last time a running back won MVP, you mentioned AP. They were second in their division. So the Titans do not have to be winning a lot of games for him to win the MVP. They were, mind you, not second in the conference, they were second in the division. So they didn't even have a home game in the playoffs. So keep that in mind, all right? AP, when he won MVP, he had 2,097 yards because, you know why he won MVP? Because he was that close to breaking the record. The record is 2,105. He also averaged 131 yards per game. That's exactly what Derrick Henry is doing right now. And he had 12 touchdowns. Think about that. 2,097 yards, 12 touchdowns. Let me tell you what Derrick Henry is doing right now. Derrick Henry, right now he got 783 yards. He's on pace to get 2,200 yards for the year, which will break the record. But let's take out week one because he had a terrible game week one. Ever since week 2, Derrick Henry been averaging 145 yards a game. That's on pace on a 16-game season. That's on pace to get 2,300 yards, which will blow past the record. He also got 10 touchdowns his last 5 games, right? Which is on pace to break LaDainian Tomlinson's touchdown record, which is 28, which he will have 32. Think about that. So he's actually on pace not to only break the rushing record in yards, the rushing TD record in the same season. And then this is a year after he did 2,000. Think about that. He had 2,000 last year. He didn't win MVP. You think he's going to do it again, not get MVP? That's crazy. All right, so I got him winning MVP. And if he doesn't, if he does this, break the touchdown record and the yard record, there's no way he can't win MVP this year.
No way he doesn't win MVP if he breaks both of those records. It's impossible.
Let me ask you a question.
That's why
Let me ask you a question. Is Derrick Henry rushing for over 100 yards against the Rams?
Yes, the Rams. You look at statistically, they're not a legit defense. Statistically,
I don't know.
But Derrick Henry, look.
They make life hard for running.
We said the same thing,
even on their paychecks.
All right, look, remember that Seahawks defense was legit that year, right? And then when he went into the 12th man AP, when he went into the 12th man, they were saying the same thing. Can he rush for 100 yards? He had like 130 yards against the Seahawks. When you have a great running back, I don't care how good your defense is. You're not going to stop. You're not going to stop Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Only hope to contain him.
Is he going to put over 100 yards against the Saints?
Yes, I believe he'll make 100 yards over every game this year. Like
he going to put over 100 yards against the Patriots?
Yes. It's Derrick Henry.
He ain't going to put up 100 yards against the Steelers?
Who did they close the season?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. These are specific defensive teams that I'm just, they're known for what they do. These coaches, it ain't just a team. These defenses. These are defensive teams coached by great defense. I'm not talking about Sean McDermott with the Buffalo Bills and just what to do against a dude like Derrick Henry. No, I'm talking about a Bill Belichick. I'm talking about the Saints head coach. I'm talking about Mike Tomlin. I'm talking about Sean McVay.
He definitely run for 100 on the Steelers.
He doesn't. Sean McVay, and I don't, and I'm the only reason why I'm asking because those are really good coached defensive teams.
Yeah,
yeah.
And those teams specifically are the reasons why I say he won't break that rushing record because he has to have a certain amount of yards each game to do it.
I mean, it's any given Sunday too. So I mean, even the teams that's not coach like that, they play defense good.
They play good defense, so they
can hold them. Yeah,
and I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm looking at it as it's. I've seen. He could just be the guy that nobody has ever seen before. He just might be that ninth world wonder.
Oh, just to let y'all know,
Lamar Jackson is when you got a
Lamar ran for 1,200,
throw for 240 yards, and turn around and run for 100 in the same game. Man, put up 300 yards by himself.
I'll say this.
I'm gonna sit here and tell you the way I saw Derrick Henry run against the number one defensive Bills. He's not a veteran head coach. He's just a really good head coach who put a lot of pieces together and built a really good defense. So I need to see Derrick Henry against really schemed coaches that will scheme to stop him. That will
the only
team to put the ball in Tannehill's hand.
The only team that has a chance to not allow him to run it over 100 is the Saints. That's the only team that has a chance because they only allow him 79 rushing yards a game.
I don't think it's Derrick Henry.
The Rams are allowing 100 yards a game.
The Rams are allowing runners. Yes, you are right.
The Rams are going
100 yards a game.
But see, the Rams are playing smart football. You know why they're doing that, right? You can't win the ball. No. You can't win the game unless you're Derrick Henry.
Thank you.
You can't win the game just running the ball, right? You gotta mix it up. And the Titans mix it up. They do throw the ball. It's not Derrick Henry.
That's the difference, though, Matt.
But that's their play action scheme on why it's a fake
work because of
game and then the play action.
So Matt,
it's a fake handoff. So of course, if Derrick Henry ran 5 straight times and I stick the ball in his chest and then pull it out, well, the defense already bit on me handing the ball off. So now I'm sitting here in the play action. Oh, there you go, Julio.
But yeah, see, Matt, that's the difference. You can't put everybody in the box against D. Henry because you got Julio and AJ Brown out there.
No, but what I'm saying is
that was the point
what
of
I'm saying is the Rams may allow those running yards because they don't allow you to do nothing in the air.
No, not the Rams. I'm talking about Derrick Henry when he.
No, we were just talking about the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams are allowing these type of yards on the ground. It's because they're not letting you get nothing in the air. They're letting you get it on the ground. They're allowing you to get it on the ground. But I 100% believe if the Rams wanted to stop you on the ground because that is your focal point of winning,
they will definitely stop you on the ground.
That.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they have the roster for it, but not Derrick Henry though.
I do believe Derrick Henry. I don't care who it is.
Because
outside of them losing to Kyler Murray, they, like I said, yes, they're allowing you to run, but they're allowing you to run because they won't let you do anything else.
Well, I'm sorry. Listen, you got Julio.
And but remember, you still got to get first downs running the ball. You gonna get a first down every 4 times you run? No.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to do something else, and then you pass. That's why they're so aggressive defensively in that aspect. You can run all day, but the minute you pick that ball up and put it in that quarterback's hand, you got to answer to this defense. Well, we're letting you run. We're giving you this rush. You running 110 yards on us doesn't give you a win. What it gives you is a running back who ran for 110 yards, and you still lost 5-14.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's another good segment. Very entertaining. All right. So look, we're gonna close this out. We're gonna get some last words from everybody, and we're gonna start with Mark. So Mark, any last words?
Man, look, Lamar Jackson going to be MVP. And Dak ain't doing nothing. It's like no, but follow me on my tattoo page. I'm a new tattoo artist. Sir Inks a lot. So the art, tattoos, all that stuff. Follow me. Sir _Inks a lot. So last word right there. That's it.
All right. For me, Derrick Henry's going to be MVP. I just had to, throw that out there. I'm hoping that Trey Lance gets a chance to start again this season. I definitely hope so. I don't think Jimmy G is the answer. He, not saying that he's a bad quarterback. He's just not what we need to be able to win. But just from my personal stuff, you can I have 2 spiritual pages that you can follow. It's called Melanated Spiritual, and then there's another called Melanated Spiritual Men. So if you can follow that, it's on Facebook and on Instagram. So just follow that.
For me, my final thoughts would be DK Metcalf, you're a great receiver. You're a bully. I call you the bully. Just the way you manhandle these cornerbacks, these secondaries, it's unbelievable. But you're soft because you let people get inside your head so fast. It hurts you in the game. So for me, just stop. Just stop. Just go out there and play ball. Somebody chirp at you. Just ignore the chirps. Just play ball. And for Derek Carr, this man has been a leader for the Raiders since he got there. He has never stopped being a leader. We need to stop looking at everyone else as the leader of this team, and we need to respect that man for everything he has done for the Raiders since Jack Del Rio came there and did absolutely nothing. Since every coach that has come to him has done nothing for him, but yet this man goes out here and has done nothing but play great football. So we need to show that man more respect than I believe he's been getting his entire career. Please check out my podcast at On the Field on Spotify, where I do my weekly picks and my weekly recaps for each week. And you can also follow my picks for those weeks on Coombs and Sports on Instagram.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm pretty sure the viewers are going to enjoy this one. And we'll see you guys at the next episode.